There is a piece I just shared on the channel titled, "There is no chosen one." I initially recorded it and then I added my opinion at the end. But when I looked down at my laptop, as I was considering whether I should have added my words, I realized I hadn't plugged my mic in. And so it was confirmed that that piece was to be delivered on its own. And what I had wanted to say was that these words came through me in shifts today. After what I would say has been a series of questioning over months and months, what this concept of the chosen one means, or being chosen one, chosen ones, I'm not sure. I have always found it to be very exclusive. And by exclusive, I mean alienating. In my mind, it makes sense that this option is open to everyone. And this understanding is embedded in me because of how I found God in me. I've experienced a series of upgrades, and to the point where I believe that my DNA has changed. My DNA has upgraded, because I know that there is no way that I would be processing things the way I am had I not made a series of choices, and also if I was the same person that I used to be. These thought processes were not even possible. My mind would not have allowed this. My mind could not allow this. And how this piece came about was this morning, my crystal called me. It's a lapis lazuli. I remember mentioning it in a prior video, and I was asked a few times which crystal it is. It's a navy blue lapis lazuli. And it's at the bottom of it, it has a layer of that green crystal. I just want to remember what it's called. It's called green malachite. It's just a thin layer of it. And when I say it called me, I mean I heard something recently, and I can't remember if it was on YouTube or if I heard it within myself, but it was that crystals can be lying around for the longest time. Oh, I remember exactly where I heard it. That a crystal, I heard it twice. The first time I heard it was during a reading that I did, explaining that a crystal can be lying around for the longest time, waiting for you to pick it up and receive from it. And the second time I heard this was yesterday. Someone else said this to me about any object essentially infused with information, that someone else can come along, pick it up, and find that information. I remembered that, and I was looking at this crystal, and so I held it and I listened, and those words are what came out. They didn't all come out at the same time. The first section is what I received, and then I carried on with my day, working in between, and as soon as I came outside, more of these words came in. And this piece answers so many questions for me, because if we are to change the world, how can we exclude the majority? If anyone is going to find God or Christ soon, quickly, in time, whatever that means, I feel that this piece is to reduce that time, because in this gap I can feel people asking questions. Am I chosen? Who are these people? Are there others? And most of all, it's this alienation from this concept that you may be chosen. And so instead of engaging in being chosen, one is engaging in the doubt of whether they are. And this takes me back to a piece that I posted early days of Pyramid Energy regarding faith. I don't remember the title clearly right now, and what I'll do is I'll link it in below and also at the end of this video. But it was, I wrote that during a time where I was asking myself, I had a frustration around explaining to anyone why I believe how I do. And that made me ask. And at the time, I was asking this voice and this screen that seems to project stuff to me when I close my eyes. I didn't know what that was. I'm a skeptic, like I said, I'm a skeptic. So I didn't know what it was, but I was like, well, if it comes from inside me, I can trust that. I can go with that. I can back that, okay? So I started engaging in this process where I would want to know something and then close my eyes and see what happens. Generally, as I'm getting to bed, because that's the point in my day at which I feel released of all my responsibilities and I can really do anything I want. And so the pressure's much less. And I asked, where does faith come from? And I received the most beautiful visual of an answer. I don't want to repeat it now, I don't want to dilute it, so I'm just going to plug it in. But here's the thing, as life changes, I'm not sure if I actually addressed the point about upgrading. I mentioned something about my DNA changing, and what I wanted to say before I move on is to upgrade is to advance upward. And by upward is not a physical, I don't mean it in the physical sense. I mean it in the sense of expansion and leveling upwards, which essentially is leveling up inwards, but I don't want to get caught up in the words. And in this process, we don't wait for something external to upgrade us, to tell us we have advanced, to give us the grade that says you've passed this level of the game. We upgrade ourselves, we give ourselves that grade, we choose it. And that's the importance of free will is embedded in that. It's right in there. Because as soon as our choice is taken away from us, what is the point? And so that's the value that I see, and my understanding of why we've been granted free will. Because at no point does it help anyone to put the responsibility of the path you choose outside of yourself. The blame game never helped us advance upwards. You can advance inwards. And in a world where you can't trust anyone, really, you have to seek that confirmation within. Discernment. In everything you do, the higher you go, and again, higher not in a physical sense, the deeper you go, the more you upgrade, the more important it becomes to consult within. And I'm just going to share this. Last night I had a question, and it was for me a very important question. And months ago, I remember waiting a long time to hear answers, but I realized that the reason why I get answers quickly now is because my mind is less in the way, and I also trust that I'll get the answer. And I also know that everything that's put in front of me is put there for a reason, and that's the beauty of this journey. It's put there for a reason. And for as long as I seek the answer outside, I will not find that answer, the truest answer. I won't find it outside. And so last night I actually asked, dear God, please help me figure this one out. I've seen the synchronicities. I've seen the numbers. Synchronicities can come in just like that. And not too long ago, someone asked me on Instagram what my thoughts are on synchronicities and whether you can make decisions based on them. And my answer to that is no. My answer to that is no. And the reason I say that is because synchronicities have always, to me, felt like a confirmation that I am in alignment. And I don't take that away. I'm not taking that away. They still are a sign that I'm in alignment, but I have struggled to take those big jumps based on some numbers. And I see lots of numbers. I'll see 1111, 2222. I'll see 144. I see the numbers big time. And so they help me. They're like poetry. They come with me along the journey, and they're like my friends. They're like my friends, because I'm like, hey, I see you. Yay! We clap a little bit. It's awesome, but they are not answers. Answers do not come from numbers. Numbers are also outside. Numbers and synchronicities do spark a feeling. They spark a feeling, but sometimes that feeling is yes. Sometimes that feeling is maybe. Sometimes that feeling is check again. Or sometimes that feeling is ask God. Seek and ye shall find. You are the chooser. And what makes you chosen is choosing. You are not excluded. I am not better. These things are external judgments. And they come and they'll confuse you. They'll confuse you. Seek and ye shall find. And to all of that, I just want to take a moment and appreciate what a beautiful thing it is to trust the words that I find inside, to witness their arrival and the understanding that they bring to me. And not just to witness their arrival, but to know I can trust their survival. And how I know I can trust their survival is also rooted in the fact that I'm a skeptic. And I realize now I'm not a skeptic in the general sense. I'm a skeptic of everything on earth that does not align with my truth around nature and what nature is and what God invites us for in this life. Everything has to check against my checklist. I have certain truths that I check everything against. But every day, new truths arrive. And they arrive through scrutinizing certain things that put me at a crossroads. And it's when I reach that crossroads and I have to consult with the big guy, because making the wrong choice here is detrimental. And so I'm just grateful for the entire journey, because had it not been for it, I would not know this. I would not know what to do with anything. And I think that's what explains it. It helps me understand where all my anxiety used to come from. My anxiety was constant mind questions, constant mind like iterations of a situation and like solutions and all the possibilities. It was overwhelming. And so I love this life that is without anxiety. And when anxiety arrives, I know what to do with it. And this life that is generally without depression, and again, when depression arrives, I don't have to fear it. I'm present with it. But I don't fear it because somehow, and again, I'm not a medical professional. This is apparently a disclaimer we have to keep giving. But they put anxiety and depression together. It's like they're friends. You know, you get diagnosed with anxiety and depression. But it's as if right now, I can say I experience the anxiety, I experience the depression, but these two things do not go together for me anymore. They are not a package deal. And also their purposes are very separate. The anxiety is an alert. And so is the depression, both to be witnessed. The one, my little flowchart of what I should do with the arrows, it says, anxiety, ask, surrender, ask God. Okay, and so grateful that the waiting doesn't take so long. But I believe that the wait is reduced by the humility of going to the source before your mind. I've tried the mind for enough years, and I've tested the humility enough times to have proven to myself that it's the way to go, at least for me. And the depression, I'm a sentient being. I feel, and so when I feel, I must be able to allow the positive feelings and the negative feelings. This is balance. I cannot only accept the positive ones, otherwise I'm trapping all the negative ones in a box that I don't want to look at. I must look at all of them. And so these things for me, anxiety and depression, are information. They are all information, and most generally in my life, they are indications that I have distanced myself from peace. And when I do, I lose my way sometimes. This is the nature of being human. You know, as humans, this is what we were given. We were given a mind. And we're given this experience to learn how to overcome the mind. And so I'm human, and so I will feel. Sending you lots of love and peace and understanding.